first snowstorm in 30 years swept over the colony of New Dawn, and for once everyone stopped to watch. On a world where winters were rare and precious, even the coldest hearts paused to listen to the wind. For Maya Vale, the memory of snow on old Earth was the last thing she had of her father. She made checklists, recited emergency codes, and tried to keep her voice steady. But every system on the outpost was failing, and the next rescue wouldn't arrive for Dzif. It arrived at all, and found herself at the cum station, where she listened to static, hoping for a miracle, dreading the silence. Maya felt a warmth she hadn't known in years. But together they created something the pulse could not touch. Oleg, the hard-edged soldier, taught the children to play shadow games on the walls. Lena started a garden in the old hydroponics bay, planting seeds in broken soil, refusing to give up even as the lights failed. Corin fixed the music box, letting its fractured notes blend with Lantern's faltering voice. She played the song for the others, and one by one, the frightened colonists gathered in the control room listening to the music while the wind howled outside. Figures appeared in the snow tall, silver, almost human, but moving in ways that set the mind on edge. One night, a child named Isak disappeared. Maya found him standing at the edge of the compound, staring at the flickering lights. She told them stories of Earth, of hope, of every colony that had survived worse. She sang the lullaby until her throat ached, holding them close as the wind screamed and the station shook. He whispered, "They want us to remember. They're lonely." Instead, Maya poured every memory, every dream, every ounce of love she had left into her song. She told the ghosts outside about her father, about the first sunrise on New Dawn, about the way hope feels like warmth in the cold. She promised she would remember them. The children called them ghosts. Oleg called them nightmares. Maya called them listeners. The garden bloomed bright with impossible flowers. The rescue ship landed in a blaze of light, and the children ran out to meet it, singing the lullaby as loud as they could. That's when she heard it. A melody, faint and impossibly beautiful, threading through the static. The AI's logs were full of voices, memories, and music. The ghost signatures were gone, but every survivor carried a spark in their eyes. A quiet joy that couldn't be explained by protocols or probability. Someone, somewhere, was singing in the dark. The garden she and Alina grew fed generations. The lullaby became a festival song, sung every winter to keep the cold and loneliness at bay. Lantern sensors kept showing ghost signatures in the night, figures outside.
Oh.
Voices on the wind, strange interference that set everyone on edge. Lantern began to lose words, its voice growing faint. The temperature plummeted. Oleg fell ill. Corin was injured fixing a power relay, and Alina collapsed from exhaustion. Maya was left alone to care for the children, facing the shadows herself as Lantern's voice finally faded. The rescue beacon failed, but Maya refused to let despair win. She recorded their singing, their laughter, every tiny victory, and broadcast it into the night. When the flakes began to fall, she felt him there with her, whispering hope. But there was no time for memories. The Accord had issued the evacuation order just hours before, and New Dawn was crumbling. Nobody knew why the sun had begun to flicker, only that the planet was dying and the window for escape was closing. The last transport had left in chaos. Only a skeleton crew remained. Maya, barely 23. In a ragtag mix of misfits, the nervous botanist Alina, the silent miner Corin, the gruff security chief Oleg, and a handful of frightened children left behind by parents who never returned. Corin disappeared for hours at a time, returning with handfuls of seeds, old toys, and once, a battered music box. Alina wept in secret, running her fingers over withered plants and whispering apologies to the roots. Oleg kept watch with an old pulse rifle, swearing he heard something moving in the snow. Above them all, the station's aging AI, called Lantern, flickered in and out of coherence, its memory fragmented by the solar storm. At first, Maya clung to the evacuation protocols. As the hours passed, the colony's power grid flickered, plunging their home into darkness. The children huddled together, too afraid to sleep. On the second night, the storm worsened. Maya wandered the empty corridors, searching for answers. Lantern recognized the song. It was an old Earth lullaby, recorded in the AI's memory banks before the colony ship even left the solar system. The song became their anchor. Each night, as the power flickered and hope faded, Maya led them in singing, every voice different, every note trembling, but the threat outside was real. Lantern's warnings grew frantic. Unknown entities detected, perimeter breached, never broke through the colony's doors. But every time someone tried to leave, the shadows pressed closer. Maya took his hand and led him back, singing the lullaby louder than ever. The shadows melted away. Days passed in a blur of fear and hope. The food ran low. Elena's garden sprouted, but not quickly enough. On the 5th day, the sun vanished behind a wall of darkness. She remembered her father's words. When you're lost in the dark, be the lantern for someone else. Maya gathered the children and led them to the garden, now glowing with bioluminescent sprouts. The shadows pressed against the walls, whispering for her to give up. As dawn broke thin and gray, but unmistakable, the shadows retreated. Lantern flickered back to life, stronger than before. When the Accord investigators arrived, they found the outpost battered, but alive. Maya never left New Dawn. She became the colony's new lantern teacher, storyteller, the voice who sang the shadows away, far out in the night, among the drifting shadows of forgotten worlds. The listeners carried that song forward, proof that, in the end, the human heart is the only beacon that can light the dark forever.